and girls, people of all ages, my name is David Popovich, aka the Bookworm, and welcome to Bookworm Reviews. Sit back and relax as we dive into Mission Earth Volume 4, An Alien Affair by L. Ron Hubbard. Let's get on with it. We start off with the book telling us the story is fake, cause the idea that an alien empire would send an agent to stop the Earth from polluting itself before the invasion, while being a front by the CIA to smuggle drugs to get the government high so Space Hitler can come into power, is clearly a work of fiction, and not you knew that joke was coming! Anyway, we then get our point of view character Sultan Griss's introduction, warning us about the crimes this volume will contain, and how reading it will take a strong conviction to get through. The fact that I'm not speaking in tongues right now should show you how strong I am. We then go through the bullet points to remind the audience that the man on the ground, General Heller, God, I hate that name, is in Griss's way to holding the CIA front, that he lives in a whorehouse across from the UN, has connections to the mob, has started a business empire, and number 7. Heller bought and then converted a large Cadillac to a Voltairean fuel system. He clearly chose that car because of the 2 L's in Cadillac. Like the UN flagpoles, they are clearly phallic symbols. And take note that Heller's name also has 2 L's. Perhaps my most brilliant Freudian analysis and final proof that his criminal nature has a sexual origin. You know, I could go all what the hell with that logic even Alex Jones would say is too much, but the sadder thing is, upon going back through the book and knowing what happens later, this is foreshadowing. Anyway, Heller is using the car to get people off of fossil fuel by doing a 1,000 lap race with no pit stop, while Griss gets the idea of telling the man who rules the world Rocket Center, which gets him introduced to the magical world of PR, to basically build Heller up so they can tear him down. Madison created a double for Heller and called him the Whiz Kid. And while Heller prepared for the race, Jay Warblurber was getting one front page story after another, with the bogus Whiz Kid challenging racing drivers around the world. Now we are on the eve of the race. Heller is out to change the world while Griss and company tries to stop him, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. This is a decent part of the book. This moment actually plays a huge part in the series, has major stakes, and you don't know if Heller won or lost the race. There's even some over-the-top action, like when Heller gets jumped by some thugs and he defeats them by throwing wrenches at them. One tried to get a shotgun into action to fire into the dark garage. A spinning blur of steel. His forehead burst apart. A man tried to flee. Heller's arm blurred. A spinning missile slashed his parka hood off, and half his head with it. Over the top? Yes. On the other hand, wrench foo! Woo! There's a lot of good tension throughout this section, and even the satire hits its mark. Here we are, folks, channel 6 and 78, always on the job. We promised you blood today, and we're delivering blood. There's blood all over the place here. 3 dead ambulance drivers. Look at that blood, folks. We paused for our bouncy towels commercial. Damn, I can't believe the words coming out of my mouth, but this book is fairly decent. Heller loses the race, and most of the book becomes focused on Griss and the PR team tearing him down, but having to make sure they don't get too carried away with it. This is strange. Seeing a Mission Earth book having a single theme and keeping to that overall theme while having some subplots continue in the background is refreshing. Where was this in the last 3 books? They would have been much better if they played out more like this. Traitor, spat Babby. I hate a traitor. When she said "Traitore," which is Italian for traitor, it sounded like a bullet. Oh yeah, and the writing still sucks, but not all good things can last, cause by the second half, we find Griss discovers the woman Miss Pinch has been taking his money and tries to rob her, only to get tricked and taken back to her place, where she pulled off my shoes, she shuckled off my pants, she pried off my underpants, a chain rattled. I was naked and spread-eagled, chained faced up on the center of that bed. And guess what? It turns out Miss Pinch is a lesbian, and I'm just going to let her explain why this is happening. The answer to controlling world population is homosexuality. Now, if everyone was a homosexual, the men gays and the women lesbians, then there's no more population problems at all. Oh, keep going, it gets better. If every student becomes dedicated, as psychiatrists are, to making all the perverts and sadists and homosexuals they can, then the long-term Rocket Center goal of shrinking world population will become a fact. So we are expected to make at least one man a pervert. And that's where you come in, Ink Switch. You heard right. They plan to make Grist gay so they can help decrease the world population, and they are doing it to keep food prices high and make a profit for Rocket Center's company. So the rest of the book becomes 50 Shades as Grist is forced to come back again and again over some IRS stuff. I don't think I need to say anything about this. This pretty much confirms to me that Hubbard has an intense hate for the LGBTQ community. If he's featuring an angry lesbian turning straight man gay with penis. And if you think the book has hit an all-time low, I'm not done yet. Remember that foreshadowing? Well, once Grist sees Heller's PR go the way he wants, he makes a daring escape back to Turkey, where he goes to the doctor of his hospital. What is this? What is this? A crushed testicle! That was when I was a boy! But now the other testicle seems to be in bad shape too. That must be an awfully tough town, New York, and especially hard on testicles. Grist is put under surgery to recover, but when he wakes, he finds... You've made me into a horse! Yes. For your home habitat, a tomb set size of 10 inches is not overly large. Many on Earth have them that size. Even bigger. This is in the book. You are now just a well-equipped male. This is how the book ends, by talking at length about Grist's new equipment, with a subplot about Grist's slave wife putting him into debt and bringing Heller's dominatrix girlfriend to help ruin his mission, only to have the book end with no real conclusion. Honestly, this book overall is better with a general plot and structure that actually moves forward, but that second half reminds me why this series is just... I have no words. You know I was going to say it was bad, and do you have any doubts about that? Have you heard the words coming out of my mouth? And may I remind you, I still have 6 more to go. So yeah, bad book, skip it unless you like to torture yourself. What about you? What's your opinion? Blah blah blah. God, I don't know how much lower this series can even go. So, next week will be my last review for the year, and I want it to be fun. What's happening next week?
Save the rebellion! Save the dream!
Well, alright then. Till next time. Have a nice day.